for example, for one landlord, we measured the number of viewings, digital viewings, and it was at least eight times more than live viewings. You just send the link. We have clients in 3 countries right now. What happened with the UK was that we got accepted to Pilab's acceleration program.
Hello, my name is Alexander Morari, and this is our podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-series A stage. And today, the special guest for tonight is Bogdan Nicoară, the co-founder of Bright Spaces. This is an interactive digital solution for showcasing office space with a modular approach and with all the additional information available in a user-centric design, or should I say tenant-centric design. Yeah, bună seara.
Bună seara. Thank you, Alex. Glad to be here. That was the perfect hello in Romanian.
Yeah, of course. I speak some Romanian, not exactly writing poems already, but anyways, I will understand if you say what's up in Romanian, which is not relevant to this discussion. As a warm-up, Bogdan, you
Sure.
are in you could say what, AR space or VR space? How would you say? What would you call that? AR, right? I mean VR all the time.
We are definitely in the web VR space, but we are also moving towards some AR components in the near future.
So I was right not to be quite sure, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
to be frankly, the entire industry will move to XR, like a mixed reality, where you could see the same space from different devices and perspectives. You will have glasses, you will have lenses, you will have screens, and we're now focused on screens because this is the most used type of device where you can see 3D items.
Yeah, especially for traditional sectors or verticals like real estate, right? And especially in this real estate leasing and so on, which is very much opposing or used to oppose actively, right, to all the innovation and so on. Like now with the advent of prop tech kind of as a new VC focus area, more and more investments, of course, are done in prop tech. And this is now, I guess you are now riding you're trying to ride 2 waves of opportunity. One is prop tech is getting momentum. 2, COVID. 3, landlords of office assets have problems getting clients, right? And they will do whatever it takes to entice. But before we go into like deep dive about your product, I cannot miss the opportunity to ask you what you think about metaverse.
Maybe the most used term nowadays, even in our office and outside. The truth is, I think it's we're living a moment where metaverse is actually heard, but the metaverse is here like forever since we have internet. So metaverse is actually the digital part of our lives. And we started with writing, then with pictures, we moved to videos, then we moved to live interactions like we are having right now. We are in a metaverse. We are in Zoom's metaverse right now, in a live or a recorded session of Zoom. The thing that is now added is the 3D environment, because technology just got there and we can see the corporate version of the metaverse. We have Meta, we have Microsoft, the Unity, Unreal, Google. Apple is now stepping into the metaverse, but then we have the decentralized part. We have the blockchain, we have Decentraland, Sandbox, and so on, the NFTs that can be created and used inside the metaverses. So we are living interesting times with the metaverse. We're definitely in metaverse. Bright Spaces is in metaverse from the inception, but now we're also stepping into it more with all the new features that we will launch this year.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you're a proponent. You think this is a good direction to transfer most of our life privately, business-wise into metaverse of this or other type, which is completely not. I completely disagree with you as far as like what we're doing right now.
Definitely not. So
Yeah,
definitely
okay,
not.
okay.
I'm not. What I think about tech is that tech is like a knife. You can use a knife to cut bread and feed someone, but you can also use the knife to do harm things to
Yes.
people, right?
Yeah,
with technology is the same. So I believe that technology can enhance a lot of the processes that we are using right now in our lives, but it can also do a lot of harm if we get into technology and forgetting about the real life. Yeah. So I have a small baby right now, 1-year-old baby, and he never looked at a phone screen right now, because I know that the rest of his life will be absorbed somehow by the digital part, and I want to keep him away as much as possible right now. But the truth is, the metaverse can help us in many ways. It's only a matter of how we use it.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. But you know, the direction, I mean, the last comment here, you know, the direction is basically to make it as heavy as metaverse presence heavy as they can get, right? With all the retailers going there, with all the, like, you know, this like Adidas NFT set went public and sold out in seconds. I mean, dozen seconds, right? Or something. And the revenues was 60 million. This is like proof of concept for all the other ones. And young people will not be able to avoid this, and they will be sucked in, you know, as like feathers into a vacuum cleaner, right? This is what I mean. But you are on the positive side, that there are good side and bad side, and it's up to you to decide how sucked in you are by metaverse. And the issue I have is that the young brains won't be able to discern, I mean, to understand the risks somewhere down the road.
You know why I believe that we still have a chance of working with this in the right direction? Mainly because if you look at the trends, the tech trend is towards a unified, let's say, metaverse, where you get absorbed, as you said, and all the advertising and all the even the media and a lot of the social encounters will happen there. But if you look like on the trends of well-being is growing a lot has grown a lot in the last years, and it is still growing. We have a lot of meditation apps. We have sports apps. We have even apps like I'm not sure how that app is called, but they pay you to like go outside with your friends. They give you some tokens. So I believe that there will always be a balance between the two, because if not, we will become the Matrix. Now it's very fashionable because we have Matrix 4, but and I don't think that even the ones that are building metaverse, they don't want that kind of a future, dystopian future. They just want to enhance some things. Obviously, profit first right now, but let's take some other influences, like we have ESG, right? Environmental, social, and governance concept. Then we have the flat self-managed organization model, like Teal and holacracy. Then you have the sustainability, which is a huge theme right now all over the world. You have all the new concepts regarding well-being in the end that tell us we need a future with best of both worlds. We need nature. We need this round ball that we're all sitting on, and maybe some other round balls if we are to listen to Elon Musk, like going to Mars and other planets. But we also need technology in order to further enhance our capabilities and to get rid of things that we are almost there, like poverty, like bad jobs, and even violence. Why not?
Okay, so Bogdan, and how do you plan to contribute to the future metaverse? What product are you developing? What are you doing
Well,
in real verse? Yeah.
In real verse, I believe that what we are doing right from the beginning with Brightspace is adding this digital layer on top of a very traditional old industry, which is real estate. And before talking about virtual land and virtual assets, NFTs, and so on, what we need is to actually optimize and enhance the current processes, the leasing of office space, the selling of apartments. Everything can be enhanced by technology. And I believe that we are at the right time with Brightspaces and with combining this extraordinary technology, 3D visualization on a link. Like you can open it from wherever you are on whatever device you have, connected to real-time data. So just combining these two concepts, this is what we are doing in the end. This is what Brightspaces is doing, connecting visualization with real-time data. We can solve a lot of from very small to very big problems in the real estate for office, retail, industrial. We hope to actually in the next years to be all around the real estate space, not just office. This is the vertical.
You mean other asset types? Other asset types. Okay.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, imagine I'm a potential tenant in Bucharest, right? And you're based in Bucharest, I understand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So imagine I'm a potential client. I want to rent 500 meters in Bucharest. And then I find out about your company. Guide me by the hand, guide me through the process of how your product and your application will help me hire a better place, cheaper, sooner, easier, and so on. Okay.
Well, the fact is that we are helping the landlords more than directly the tenant, because the landlords are our clients. So what we are doing is creating
at some point landlord will need you to help them rent out some office space. And let's start at this point.
Exactly.
So here is a landlord, on the other side there's a potential tenant from, I don't know, Boston, and we need 500 to outsource our like IT department, whatever. And in between us is Brightspace's application platform, right? So how do you help us get married business-wise?
Well, the tenant will either come through a broker or directly on the landlord's website if they are looking for a certain brand, and they will see the digitized version of the entire portfolio of office spaces for that landlord. They will search for 500 meters of office space, and they will see all the information about the location, about the technical specs, the health specs, which is very important right now, sustainability specs, and they can choose the right space for them. They can step inside that space and see it in 3D, in a virtual dollhouse model, but also first-person model, like in a game. And you will move around and see that space with different fit-out proposals. And if you like that space, you can engage directly with the landlord through the platform. And this is where the second part of the platform comes in, where we take all of that, those requests in a CRM, and the landlord can further engage with the potential tenant after that.
Yeah, and do cover only new assets in construction phase or standing as well? I mean, standing buildings.
No, also standing. So we have off-plan buildings, which are extremely important because you can see spaces which are not already finished, which are not built, but also we have refurbished spaces that need a new way of showcasing to new potential tenants.
And then you come
imagine that Brightspace is. Sorry, I wanted to say that Brightspace also brings a slight an interesting thing, because if you have a space that you know will be free in 6 months or 9 months or even 12 months, because for long leases this is the amount of time needed to conclude a lead, you can actually start preparing to pre-lease that space long before you would do it if you wouldn't have Brightspaces or a similar tool, because you cannot just come and visit through that space when the people are still there. It's difficult. That's inconvenient for all parties.
And so I'll tell you this. So Class A offices will survive any crisis, I guess, more or less, right? And then the big issue will have class, let's say A minus, diplomatically B, B minus, and so on. They will have issues, and this is where I think there's an opportunity. Standing office assets, helping them, as you say, start the leasing, let's say several months before they know for sure that they will lose a current tenant. That's interesting. But imagine there's life already in the office. So would you come and you would scan this to make a 3D model using Matterport or similar, or your own hardware? How would you start with that? So imagine this is my office, okay, 200 meters or so, and let's say I want to leave, and landlord comes to you saying, come help us. What would you do? Or will you digitize? Will you make a 3D model based on architectural paper or on physically scanning the space? What's your approach?
It depends. We're using both ways of doing it. So we are creating 3D environments from scratch, from CAD models or even like images, but we can also scan it with Matterport and then virtually stage that. So on top of an open plan Matterport scan, we can add 3D furniture and separation walls and that kind of stuff. And that can be integrated into our bigger platform where you can see the building and where that space is positioned on the building or in the project.
Okay, and now floor plan is usually what's most important, and landlords are selling using imagination of the tenants. And can you create floor plans as well? And can you adapt floor plans to the potential tenant's needs? So for instance, I say, as a potential tenant from Boston, right? I say 500 meters, and we want this to be divided into 5 separate rooms, 20 meter each, and then open space. And then it should be white, and our furniture should be white as well, for instance. Would you be able to tailor this, or you do 3-4 options with landlord, and that's it as a black box?
This is a very, very good question because this is something that we are actually starting to do right now. We're offering a monthly plan to create the fit outs. We have internal architects. We're calling them workplace specialists because they're specialized in workplace. And we can create the cool thing about this service is that we can create the test fit, which is something normal. Every landlord is doing that for potential tenants, but usually those test fits are a 2D model, and you have only the spaces there. What we are building is the 3D model of that test fit, faster than before, and they can actually step inside and see what they like or don't like in that place. And we're now adding some functionality to comment on the test fit, so that we can come back very fast with a new proposal. Even if right now this will be done manually with architects, we are also working on automating this, because everything can eventually be automated with the help of very good knowledge from specialists, but also AI. So we see a future where you will just complete a form, like what you need for that space, and instantly the software will place the rooms and the furniture according to your needs, or some options according to your needs for the test fits. We're not discussing about the final design, because for the final design, there's a huge budget involved, and generally you come with your own interior designer and so on. But before you know that you want a space, this is a very interesting window of opportunity for landlords to show that that space is actually the best space for a certain tenant and his needs.
Yeah, interesting. And viewing right now is a pretty pain in the neck, right? So you cannot afford, as previously, to come over for a week or so and have 100 viewings with agents. And so I guess what you're doing is to make the viewing less physical and more reliable at the same time, right? So all the stakeholders of a office leasing event save time and effort, basically, and then they can pinpoint 3-5 shortlisted, right, office spaces to go through. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Have you ever calculated? Yeah, have you ever calculated the value that you're bringing to stakeholders? I mean, there's landlord, there's maybe an agent or something, there's tenant. Without your app, all of us have to gather in one specific place and spend half an hour, 1 hour maybe in one office, right, to review. This is time and money, right, for everybody involved. Yeah. Do you have any like ready at hand, like this calculation? What value you bring to a?
No, we don't have them. Mainly because in order to calculate them, we need a lot of data, and all the data that we have is through COVID. So, which is kind of weird. This is not a normal interval to measure.
I see. Because you're a young company, right? Yeah. This is what you mean, like your practical experience.
We are young, and also everything that we lived through COVID. So we didn't manage to see how it was with bright spaces before COVID. We will probably measure that in the next years. It's what I can tell you. For example, for one landlord, we measured the number of digital viewings, and it was at least 8 times more than live viewings. Because
of course.
It's easier. You just
reasons.
Send a link. Yeah, you just send a link. So sending a link it's easier than getting someone on a plane and driving them to the location and so on.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. So business-wise, how many clients you have there now? I know you showcased a couple of landlords, including big international developers like Skanska and some other. And are you now based like only in Romania? Do you have international footprint?
We have clients in 3 countries right now. We have in Romania, we have in the UK, and we will announce very, very soon our first collaboration in Hungary.
Cool. And how come you have such a wide horizon? Romania, Hungary, like neighboring countries, easy to manage and expand, and then all of a sudden this jump to UK. And by UK, you mean London or another city?
It's closer to Manchester, and we'll have London soon enough. Okay. What happened with the UK was that we got accepted to PILAB's acceleration program in 2020.
PILAB, yes, congratulations. By the way, that's not very easy.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's not easy at all. We were lucky to get in there, and obviously we noticed the potential of the UK, and not only the potential of the UK, but also the potential to be in the UK and to look at the US and even Asia, which is not that easy coming from Bucharest, Romania. Even if we're living in a virtual world, it's way easier to do it from the capital of the world, like London, the middle of the world, than from here. So for us, it's a strategic move to have UK as one of the main markets for us in our early years.
No, amazing. I mean, PILABs is one of the pioneers as far as prop tech, and to get on board with them, or to get them on board, maybe I should say, is really a good signal for not only next generation VCs but also for everybody involved. And it's PILAB of itself is a name, okay, in the industry, definitely. Congratulations on this. Okay, now
thank you very much.
So Romania, Hungary, and UK. Do you have any like overall portfolio information, like how much in square meters?
Around 500,000 square meters of office space.
Okay, interesting. And do you know the conversions? Like 500 is what you cover, and how big is the space leased with your involvement or support or contribution?
It's very different depending on from landlord to landlord.
Yeah, I know, but overall, give a take. Look, no exact figure is needed, just the range out of curiosity.
I think it's around an average of up to 10% of the space leased from the moment we started. Definitely different from landlord to landlord, but I think it's up to 10%.
So that's a very specific figure. 500,000 square meters approximately, and about 50,000 or so leased with your involvement. Okay. And that's the starting point for you to calculate the value brought to landlords, I think. We could discuss this later on. I don't want to improvise now. But there's something specific, very, very specific. And then this could be also calculated like through the lens of time. I mean, how do you say it? Man work time. I mean, man hour per each transaction, viewing, and so on and so on. Interesting. Okay. Now,
this is something that we really want to do. We're working right now on our first case study with Skanska, which we will launch in the next weeks, and then we will have a case study with all of the landlords we have. The truth is, it was very hard. We were a very small team in the beginning. We started 5 people. We're now reaching 30 people, but it was very hard to do all of the things that needed to be done, like even engaging into creating case studies. We needed to do whatever was needed for the running of the business. But right now we're thinking a lot. We want to get a data analyst in our company so that we switch from like hustling all the time to a more strategic process of growth, and basing our decisions on what you just said, like having real data supporting the results and the decisions.
So Bogdan, let's move on. Round 2, competitors. This is not a very new idea. This is not a very unique idea, let's admit. How do you plan to stand out from the competitive crowd? If you want to name it, and if you want to name a company or two and explain how you can crush them or throw them the gauntlet or whatever, you could go through this, or just in general. This is not, you know what I mean, like entry barrier here is not that high. How do you plan to defend it?
I would say that it depends on where you look at the problem, because the way we did this was to look at the entire leasing process of office space and try to identify all from the small to very important problems that are on that process. Generally, startups start their business from a very interesting niche that they can solve a very big problem, a must-have problem for that. And if we are to look at our competitors, that's what they are doing. So they chose one part of the leasing process and they're trying to do it the best way possible. From our perspective, even if it was way riskier from a startup perspective because you don't have the initial resources, we thought, and we still do think, that the office sector is extremely is changing right now, and it's extremely uncertain. So how can we be sure that all of our resources that we put in that small problem that we want to solve, if we are to act as a normal startup, will be the solution to solve the problem right now, but also in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, and to be sure that we will have the resources to continue. And we chose differently. We chose to look at the entire leasing process, to look at all the problems, and to try to solve the problem of digitizing what can be digitized and optimized in the leasing process, from meeting with a potential tenant to actually signing the lease agreement. And we do that by creating this platform with a lot of features that can be mixed and matched to answer different landlord requirements, not only one. And I think this is the biggest difference from that Brightspace brings to other solutions. We're not just a virtual touring solution. We're not just a CRM solution. We're not just fit out creator solution. We're combining all of this, and if we are not the best solution, we're opening. For example, we have an integration with Pipedrive. We are now working on an integration with Salesforce. We're working on integrations with HubSpot, with Microsoft Dynamics. We don't want to be like the old legacy software solutions like Captive. We just want to be there to bring value where we can bring value on in this process, but also creating the ecosystem for the process. For example, we're now preparing to use our solution for one client for the divestment process, which is not in the leasing process. It's selling the building to the next one. And why not? Because creating this 3D universe of the landlord, you can start imagining how you can use this as a base tool for all of the actions that are done in the real estate: investment, research, pitching, leasing, renting, selling, and divestment. So we are looking more holistically at the technology that we bring, the 3D visualization connected to data, and how this can be used today, but also how this can grow organically in the next years as the market changes, so that it always brings value in a modular approach.
Can I be a little bit more provocative?
I hope I can answer your
so look, how would you respond to this statement? What you are developing right now is actually a clever go-to-market tool for you to sooner or later become a transaction intermediator or transaction platform, and take the bread from advisory companies on the leasing or capital markets side?
I would say that it won't happen because the knowledge that we need for the big leases, like the real knowledge that we need, would mean like we need to hire all the good people from the huge companies like CBRE, like JLL. And instead of doing that, this is like a very tough, but also maybe a useless objective, because we don't want to take everything. We just want to be helpful where we can be and become a huge company. And there's so much room that we think it's way better to collaborate with the agents, to collaborate with the fit-out companies, to collaborate with developers, but also with long-term holders. And in the end, we even have some ideas of features for tenants, like specifically designed for tenants. So instead of choosing a battle, we are choosing to be an interconnected solution throughout the industry. And I don't think, as many people said, office will die. Office will not die. Many people said agents will stop to exist. They won't stop. If they're smart, and a lot of smart people are working with the big consultants, they will change with the market, and they will adopt technology. They will create technology. Maybe in the end, they will become a digital solution. But we will be there to connect with them and to bring those features that are not handy to be created by anyone, as we are doing right now.
Interestingly enough, you didn't say we are ready, like not only to help and contribute. We will sometime merge with one of those players. I understand it's somewhere behind the screen, and let's leave it there. Let's move on. We will discuss it later on. Okay, in a second. Bogdan, thanks. Round 3, quick Q&A. Share with us your best productivity hack or hacks. And again, not the platform, not the software, like the way you do things.
I rely a lot on quality time with my family. So in the evening, however late that is, I'm trying to disconnect. Meditating, running each morning, taking short breaks at the office, like actually like going somewhere and just relaxing for some minutes, reading, listening to podcasts a lot lately, and I find so many things that I think we were supposed to pay for. And I think that's it. Maybe reflecting. So from time to time, I take some time to download what I can from my mind, put it on a piece of paper or some digital tools, and start over, like going back to zero inbox policy or zero tasks and so on. From time to time, I need to stop and rethink what I'm going to do for the next interval.
Yeah, that's a big list. And let me just pick 1 or 2 short breaks in the office. Technically, how do you do this? Every hour, every 2 hours, you go out, you force yourself to go outside, or you just get away from the computer and you walk around the floor, or how technically this happens?
I unfortunately this is not so organized in my head, so I just do it when I feel like doing it. I'm not thinking it's an hour I need to go, and sometimes I go outside. Maybe I go to get something to eat, like to walk to a walking distance, or I just go and sit we are in a co-working space, and we have a lot of socializing areas like couches, even booths. And but I when I feel that I'm overloaded, I just take some minutes off and leave the screen, leave the phone, and just try to disconnect.
Like when your mental glass is full, rather than when somebody tells you, here is the tick of the clock and you need to go out.
Exactly. And one thing that I do is actually look at videos or images from we have a WhatsApp family group, and obviously I'm not looking at that during the day, but when I take these small breaks, I actually go in and remember who I am outside of the office.
Okay.
Outside of, yeah.
There's one last question in this round, okay, as far as co-working spaces and so on. So active co-working, what I mean by active co-working, there's like available common space and people mingle together and so on and so on. Now, I heard some voices, critical voices to co-working space, especially from young companies and startups, that this has like benefits, but also creates some risks of rotation or losing employees in the company, just because of this immediate openness and immediate exposure to maybe more interesting offers here and now. You know what I mean? Do you feel this? Yeah. Have you heard anything like that?
No, absolutely not. I do think that co-working is the best thing for an early stage company. And I think the culture that you create, and you can create a culture with 3 people. That's something that you can do. It's the culture comes from the founders, but it is built by the others around. So you need to invest in this right from the beginning. And I think that if you have a good culture, for us, it's Teal. It's the Teal model with flat, self-managed departments and even individuals. Very, very flat decision-making process. Everyone is allowed to say and to bring everything that they can at the table. And we're quite happy with what we managed to build. And we don't, if someone leaves right now, it's probably for the best for both sides, right? He or she may have gotten to a better place, but if it's that easy for them to choose to go away, maybe they weren't the perfect candidate for that job, and they leave an empty space which you can fill with maybe some better candidates or the future. What takes you from 0 to 1 is not the same things, people, processes, resources that will bring you from 1 to 10. for each step of the growth of the company, you need different different people, different kind of resources, and I think even different mentalities. Even the founders need to change a lot of their mentalities. What happened in the first years won't happen in the last ones.
So you're not one of those founders that is in a protective mode, rather. You are more of a fatalist. Que será, será. What will happen? I mean, how to say? What happens will happen. Right? What has to happen will happen, or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have to ask you. Look, on LinkedIn, I found there was a lead from James Dearsley, right, with this huge international company, and they needed a 3D visualization solution. Did you get this job? I mean, or are you still in the process, or this didn't work out?
From my knowledge, we're still in the process. So
wow! Congratulations.
I'm not sure.
So just to give everybody some public information, yeah, I will inform you. No problem. Just to everyone watching this or listening, guys have a lead from James Dearsley, a co-founder of Unisu, like known guy in prop tech industry and so on. And so the lead is from FTSE 250 company with a 2.5 billion portfolio. And they needed somebody to cover their visualization solution and needs for the whole portfolio. And Bright Spaces are still in the game. Let's wish them good luck. Fingers crossed and toes if you need. Okay, let's move on. Bogdan, let's move on. Company. So you decided to found the company September 1st, 2019. That's the beginning of your business school year, so to say. You have founders pretty much rooted in the industry. Yourself, Andrei, Konstantin, co-founder and CTO, Ciprian Pașca. Is it Pașca?
Yes, it's Ciprian Pașca. He's our advisor right from the beginning,
and president of PropTech Romania, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then you have also Andrei, Konstantin, founder, CTO on Bright Spaces, and you mentioned what, 30 people right now?
Almost 30 people.
Yeah, 30. Okay. Now, tell me, are you hiring right now? Where is the biggest challenge, pain point for you? Or for the whole year of 2022 as well?
We are hiring right now all the time. And probably the hardest part is still with the sales, the business developers, because we are in the educational and consultative sales process. So we are virtual tours, yes, were something that was discussed for the last years, but were only used experimental. If you look at the landlords, you won't see a lot of them using actually virtual tours especially for office. Not to say all the other digitization part. So we need people that can be very empathic and consultative when it comes to sales and transfer a lot of the future benefits and a lot of the projections that we have on the future in order to get the innovators and the early adopters to work with us. It's not that easy to come to someone who worked for the last tens of years with pen and paper and maximum Excel sheet and say that you have a solution for that, because they don't see it as a problem. So it is difficult. It's a question for us. Do you take some people from the real estate world and teach them tech, or do you take some tech people and teach them real estate, which is something that we just started learning because we had no experience in real estate until 2 years ago. So it is a difficult situation. When it comes to the product, it's difficult only from one perspective, is that engineers are looked for by all the companies right now, and the battle is on regarding the revenue that they have, the paychecks. But that is something that we're used to, because before having Bright Spaces, we were involved in 11 years in the software development industry. So it was kind of the same, getting engineers and designers. And now we have the 3D part, which we love, definitely we love, and it's so interesting to get 3D from either architectural side or arts and design side. And so these are our challenges when hiring.
Okay, couple of comments. First, I think you are so young yet that founders have to go through this first stage of selling and actually getting a couple of accounts and targeting big ones, international, but also small local. You need feedback from all the types of clients. First, and second, as far as potential salespeople, well, I would say you should focus on somebody who is in an agency, advisory company, office agency or similar, or even to pinpoint, to focus exactly specifically at prop tech companies that have already gone through this initial phase of setting up sales process and educating client and so on. And somebody who survived such an environment will be really almost ready to deliver to bright spaces from day one. You just educate them. Right? Yeah. You just educate them on the specificity and idiosyncrasies of your product, but that's relatively easy to understand, basically, right? So you just need to understand all the potential balls to juggle when you speak to clients of different size and so on and so on. Interesting. Look, interesting. Let's move on. And last but not least, Formula round 5. So as far as your funding history, you have gotten by now a pre-seed round with Sparkling Capital and Growciano, right? Adrian Eremescu from another, and Business Angels as well. But also in July 2021, you raised a second investment round, 1.5 million euros, with the lead investor being Axelio Capital. And there you have also on board Sparkling, Growciano, but also PyLabs. And again, I think PyLab is your springboard for expansion, not only UK, but in other English-speaking countries. Congratulations with that. Now, what's the plan for the next round? Do you have already a specific plan for next round of investment? And if you can share anything, that's the time.
We are starting to think about this, and it may happen this year, depending on the growth that we manage to have on the sales side and implementation. And we are thinking on trying to get a VC which can be a launch pad towards other continents. That would be the ideal path, to have someone that can in Series B take us to the big ones, like to have Tiger or Sequoia or Anderson Horowitz or so on in Series B. So that means that we need to have someone that has this opportunity of putting you in at the same table with the big guys, also by proving that we can enter in different continents. Obviously, I'm referring to US and to Asia.
Yeah, not Antarctica, definitely. And tell me, I understand you didn't mention overseas prop tech investors. Is this your plan specifically? You mentioned big guys, yeah, okay, but none of them is a prop tech fund, you know?
I said that we want to reach those big guys, and that we would like the Series A to have a VC that can be a launch pad towards that goal. So that means that it can be well-renowned prop tech or SaaS-oriented VC.
Yeah, okay. So just get PyLabs involved, engaged more, so that they have more motivation to bring you overseas to their friends in the US, for instance. And you never mentioned the amounts that you might be looking, or is it too early yet?
It's too early right now. We just started putting the money that we got to work. So we still need some months of understanding the growth rate that we can achieve. And then we will be ready to start the new round.
Yeah, interesting. So Bogdan, I think you might be one of those companies that will benefit more or increasingly with COVID situation around us being still uncertain, we are still in the middle of Greek alphabet, as I say usually. There's still lots of potential there, and just as I said, you are writing a couple of ways. One of them is this pandemic situation, but also advancement with the related advancement with the digital solutions and challenges for office landlords, definitely. So you're in the right spot. I understand, with the right companies, with the right people as well, and investor lineup. The only thing I can say, just, keep crushing, keep being awesome, and good luck, all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Alex.